ABC22 News starts now with your forecast first.
Well, the Arctic front hasn't quite arrived, but it definitely had a bitter feel to the day today. Temperatures, actual air temperatures climbed into the upper 20s and lower 30s, but we had wind chills that were back into the teens and single digits above zero all day long. On radar, finding that cold front depicted with snow showers, some heavier bands, Watertown, Rockville, that is working to the east and opening up the gates to some of the coldest air we've seen in years, coming straight from the north. And those winds are going to be howling. We'll take a look at your full forecast and how cold we get Friday and Saturday morning as we start here on ABC 22.
This is ABC 22 News at 7.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us here on a Thursday night on ABC 22 News. I'm Matt Holderman. Well, after the overturning of Roe v. Wade this past June, some states' legislatures are gunning to ensure legal protections for those performing and seeking abortions, including Vermont. ABC 22's State House reporter Josh Morrill takes a deeper dive on the proposals from lawmakers.
A push for reproductive protection.
It is a new world.
After the Supreme Court's decision to upend nationwide abortion protections this past summer, experts say battles are set to begin among states with strict abortion bans and those expanding abortion rights.
They're not going to be satisfied just knowing they end abortion in their borders. They're going to want to end abortion everywhere.
Cohen says when those seeking abortions inevitably travel to Vermont, they could be subject to legal action in their home states when they return. And members of Vermont's House and Senate have proposed abortion shield bills aiming to ensure healthcare providers be excluded from investigations and prosecutions by those states.
When they go back to their states, we want to ensure that our providers are not held accountable.
But Planned Parenthood of New England says the shield law's protections wouldn't stretch to patients outside the state.
There's some minimal protections for patients around privacy and around forwarding mail and data protection. Unfortunately, though, the patients do bear most of the risk.
The Senate bill would also outlaw medical insurance companies from raising providers' rates if they offer reproductive health care in the state, and would also force the state's pregnancy resource centers to adhere to Vermont's consumer protection laws because lawmakers and lobbyists say their purpose is misleading for young women.
And we want to assure ourselves that that medical practice is medical practice.
We call them fake clinics because that's what they are. They're halfway through their appointment before they realize, oh, this isn't what I thought at all.
But Vermont Right to Life's executive director says the resource centers provide essential care.
A daycare for you to finish your college education, special housing so you can raise your child and graduate. That's choice. And that's the kind of thing that the pregnancy resource centers do offer.
And that the basis for the bills is largely flawed.
You have HIPAA laws. Why would anyone know that you came here to have an abortion? And we have this whole long, lengthy bill for what?
Reporting in Montpelier, Josh Morrill, ABC 22 News.
A Vermont man is facing a number of felony charges for being in the mob of people at the Capitol building and allegedly attacking several police officers. Court documents say 41-year-old William Arthur Nichols from Manchester was part of the group that tried to force their way into the Capitol building's west entrance. Prosecutors say these pictures from the FBI affidavit show Nichols the day of January 6th and the attack on an officer. Nichols allegedly used a shield to push and hit officers. He was arrested in Vermont yesterday and faces charges including assaulting, resisting, or impeding officers and civil disorder. On to the big story heading into the weekend now, with sub-zero temperatures expected to roll in tomorrow. Everyone should be making sure they're preparing for the cold, and advocates for animals are making sure that pet owners take care of their furry friends too. Despite the negative temps, many pets still have to be brought outside periodically, of course. Hannah Manley with Addison County's Humane Society is warning that dogs and cats can easily get frostbite in below freezing temperatures.
If it's too cold for you, it's too cold for your pets, plain and simple. For the weather that we're expecting, their time outside should just be very, very limited to getting out, doing their business, and getting back in. They also shouldn't be allowed outside unsupervised when it's that cold.
And Manly adds, watch out for your pet's paws, as salt and antifreeze can be harmful, and make sure you clean your pet's paws when coming back inside. If you do see an animal struggling in the cold that doesn't belong to you, Manly urges you to notify your local police. And from Washington tonight, new accusations coming down against Republican Congressman George Santos. He's being accused of lying about his background, making up a false resume to win over voters, and now the FBI is investigating him for allegedly stealing money raised to help an unhoused veteran's service dog. Richard Ostoff, a disabled veteran of the Navy, says his dog needed life-saving surgery. Santos allegedly raised about $3,000 and then disappeared with the money. This comes on top of several other federal investigations into Santos's personal finances. He has declined to answer questions about the matter. Well, the House of Representatives passed a resolution today to remove Congresswoman Ilhan Omar from the Foreign Affairs Committee. House Republicans called for Thursday's vote after alleging Omar has made comments that are critical of Israel, and some Republicans have even accused her of anti-Semitism. Removing Omar from the committee has been a longtime goal of now House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries called the vote politically motivated and said Republicans were holding Omar to a double standard. Before the vote, Omar said she would continue to, quote, be a voice against harms around the world, no matter what the outcome. All 211 House Democrats voted against Omar's removal. And House Speaker Kevin McCarthy announced Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders will give the response to the State of the Union address next week. Sanders is the youngest governor in the country and the first woman governor of Arkansas. McCarthy also announced that Arizona's Republican Congressman Juan Ciscomani will be delivering a response in Spanish. Well, still ahead, a little closer to home, a few aspiring musicians will have the chance to harmonize with the Vermont Symphony Orchestra. We'll hear what they have to say and what they're doing to soothe their nerves.
And a lot of schools have made the call to close tomorrow. Not a bad idea, especially as wind chills range between the 20s to 30s below zero for Friday, even worse by Saturday. We'll have all the details on this cold snap in just a few minutes.
Local news that matters on ABC22 News.
Well, the Vermont Symphony Orchestra is gearing up for a busy weekend, planning for performances at the Flynn. In some cases, it's a chance for some young performers to showcase their skills. ABC22's Sam Israel caught up with a 17-year-old pianist to see how she's preparing for the show.
This weekend, music will echo through the halls of the Flynn. Saturday's show, Electric Dreams, will feature live performances from flutists like Melissa Melans. But on Sunday, youth pianists like Miles Glover and Laura Zoo Hackett will be taking the stage. Laura is a 17-year-old senior at Burlington High School.
I like to think that if I enjoy something, then there's always time for it.
Laura's mom says her daughter has been playing piano since the 2nd grade.
She saw a friend playing piano, so she wanted to start it. I have no music talent at all.
She then began taking lessons, and the rest was history.
Just love how the piano can express emotion and reflect things in the world around us that we can't really say with words. And I like to share that as much as I can with like younger students and anyone.
She'll be joined by a supporting cast of 70 members of the Vermont Symphony Orchestra.
To have the orchestra behind me and like with me, it just feels like having a set of wings.
Sunday will be a big day for Mom.
I'm very proud of her, and I'm also nervous and excited at the same time.
And an even bigger day for the Burlington High School senior.
I always tell myself I'm not going to be nervous, but honestly, I don't know how I'm going to be feeling. Definitely a little nervous and very excited.
You can visit our website for more information on how to buy tickets. In Colchester, Sam Israel, ABC22 News.
Awesome stuff. Certainly looking forward to the performances there. Well, still to come, a Montpelier native rose through the ranks of the U.S. Navy and eventually became the first person ever to achieve the rank of Admiral. Coming up in This Place in History, a look at the heroic acts of Admiral George Dewey.
And the Arctic air is rolling in. We'll get you prepared right after the break.
We've reached prime time at the slopes. That's when just about every snowmaking trail is open, and Bel Air in New York's Catskills has all the well-covered big mountain cruisers just the way you like them, including a dozen Groom Black Diamonds. And they're making a lot more snow during this latest wave of cold weather. They got snow from recent snowstorms, and Bel Air's Catskill Thunder Gondola is a nice, fast ride on colder days. Pico, Vermont is big mountain skiing with small mountain charm. They have nearly all of their terrain open after 3 big snowstorms the last couple weeks, with plenty of fresh corduroy to carve up. Cruise the long intermediate 49er trail from their nearly 4,000-foot summit, or ride a large selection of easy trails on their lower mountain. Dress in your warmest layers with a quick cold snap the next couple days. Sunday is much warmer. And get all the latest at snowcountry.com.
Local news that matters on ABC22 News. Now, your Sky Tracker forecast with meteorologist Haley Boulay.
Wind chill warnings are up for the entire region. I don't think I have seen that in my 10 years of being up here in northern New England. Across the board, everyone is experiencing those dangerous wind chills where frostbite or hypothermia can set in within a half hour, 15 minutes, at times maybe even 5 minutes. So really using extra caution if you're doing anything outdoors this weekend, super important. Sunday will be a lot warmer, feel like a beach day, but for both Friday and Saturday, limiting your time outdoors is essential. If you do have to be outdoors, I know a lot of folks postal workers, construction workers, you have to work, right? Having the ability to take a break, go in, find a heater, making sure you are dressing in layers, covering any exposed skin, because -30, -40, -50 degree wind chills leaves your fingertips, the tip of your nose with frostbite at times within 5 minutes. And we mentioned this earlier, but don't forget about the pets. Bring them inside. My dog's going to be very upset that she's not going to get her full walk Friday and Saturday, but it's not worth the risk, and it's not worth how cold it is. The Arctic cold front is about to enter the St. Lawrence River Valley. With it coming some snow showers and snow squalls with intense bursts of heavy snow. We're also going to see our winds eventually shift to the north and west. That is going to really ramp up those wind speeds, allowing for some blowing and drifting snow tonight. That'll be an issue, especially with a fresh coating of fluffy snow. So dealing with those snow showers from now until right around the 2 o'clock hour tonight, 2 a.m., those will roll through. So a brief window of low visibility, difficult driving conditions. If you're out traveling, make sure you are using extra caution. By the way, it's interesting because tomorrow our high temperature will actually happen right at the stroke of midnight. With our falling temperatures, we're going to be back below freezing by 7 a.m. But in the record books, tomorrow is going to go down with a high temperature of 17 degrees for the Burlington area, which is kind of wild in comparison to what we are experiencing by 3 o'clock when we normally would see our high temperature. It's going to stay below zero all day long. And by morning, our wind chills 20 to 30 degrees below zero in northern zones, just a bitter blast. And a smart move for a lot of school systems to say, hey, stay home, stay safe, keep the kids from waiting out at the bus stop. And also the buses, the diesel buses, they may not be working too well tomorrow. We're going to continue with those winds howling out of the north and west, 10 to 20, gusting as high as 30 throughout the day. We do have partly to mostly cloudy skies, and a flurry or two can't be completely ruled out. Future Tracker really wants to keep us sunny for tomorrow, but we're going to hold on to gray skies. And temperatures rolling through the day, staying below zero across the board all day long. This is a piece of the Arctic just laying itself right over the north and east. Winds, again, 10 to 20, gusting as high as 30. And all day long, we find those wind chills 20 to 30 degrees below zero, maybe even a few cold spots, 40 degrees below zero. Friday night and into Saturday is kind of the peak of the cold. By Saturday morning, the Burlington area is back into the teens below zero, 20s and 30s for the Northeast Kingdom below zero, Saranac Lake 30 below. And those winds don't go calm. We still find that north and west wind 5 to 15 miles per hour Saturday morning, and that leaves us with wind chills 30, 40, if not 50 degrees below zero. Checking on your neighbors, staying safe. If you lose power, using one of the resources that the state has set up for us, whether it's a warming shelter, 211, very important. Very quick cold snap too. Temperatures in the 30s, above zero by Sunday. That's your latest check of the forecast. If you missed anything and need a quick recap, place to go is mychamplainvalley.com. So Matt, you're used to this kind of cold. You've experienced some of the bitter blast of the Midwest in your last job, correct?
That is true, yes. Unfortunately, already felt a little bit of that negative 35-degree wind chill. So it looks like very similar temperatures ahead the next couple of days.
Yeah, it's going to be cold, staying safe, especially if you're reporting out in the fields, you're doing any outdoor activities. It's going to be a dangerous one, but it's going to be a quick one.
All right, looking forward to spending the day indoors on Saturday, though. That'll be nice. All right, Haley, thanks very much.
Yep.
And, well, one of the last things you would consider doing this weekend is going out for a swim.
That's
but coming up tonight, that's probably at the top of the list for this New Zealand native who now lives in Vermont and is an avid ice swimmer.
Local news that matters on ABC22 News. Local news that matters on ABC22 News.
The U.S. began to be widely recognized as a world power in 1898 as a result of its decisive victory in the Spanish-American War. Montpelier native Commodore George Dewey was considered a national hero for helping to bring that about, sinking Spain's entire Pacific fleet at the Battle of Manila Bay while losing only one American sailor in the process to a heart attack. Within a year of the battle, Dewey was promoted twice. We briefly referred last week to his second promotion, in which he rose to the brand new rank of Admiral of the Navy.
Congress gave him a special rank I guess
that nobody else had,
or has ever had.
Yeah, he is a very unique individual, and he's the level of fame is just extraordinary. As I said, there's lots of items that his face was plastered on. He went on a nationwide tour, and by the time that tour wrapped up and he returned home to Montpelier, there was 40,000 people out in front of the State House to honor him.
Now, and of course, we have a lot of that material at the Vermont Historical Society, and Mike will go and we'll take a look at some of that a little bit later. That celebration here in Montpelier, I've read about it. It's like something else. I mean, huge bonfires, like on the ridges of the Green Mountains that were lit as he entered, and then a huge bonfire pyre, I don't know what you want to call it, above this, on the hill above the State House, which is wooded now. It wasn't wooded then. And then the State House itself was lit up with electric lights, which is like this brand new thing. I mean, it's just spectacular. All the buildings up and down this street just covered with bunting and people and parades. And I mean, so much so that there were some political aspirations as well.
Yeah, I think so, but he didn't, he ended up dying just before, on the eve of World War I, so 1917, and so that obviously did not happen.
He wanted the Democratic nomination for president in 1900, but I think that not the Senate primaries, but the delegates didn't favor him.
He lost because he made some like really not great remarks. So, but anyway, Dewey was so popular when he came back to Montpelier, and we had this whole celebration. But that continued. There was a holiday, right?
Yeah, it was a Dewey Day. Was and we've got pictures of the State House decked out in buntings, the Vermont Historical Society Pavilion building decked out in buntings, and it was actually even most recently celebrated in 2018 when Governor Phil Scott signed a proclamation naming the day Dewey Day.
So here we are, landlocked state, Vermont, and have, arguably one of the most famous admirals in U.S. history born here. And, how quickly we forget these things, but it's wonderful to talk about it.
And he's the reason the Vermont State House lawn has 2 naval guns on it at this place in history.
Local news that matters on ABC22 News. Local news that matters on ABC22 News.
Well, not too far away now from that bitter cold weather. I know we've been talking advice all throughout the day here, but Haley, any last minute advice for everyone before we wrap up here?
Layers. Layers are your best friend tomorrow. You know, packing an extra pair of socks in case you maybe step into a puddle and your feet get wet and then you have cold feet for the rest of the day. It's one of those cold that just kind of lingers with you. So layers upon layers. Probably gonna walk out the door tomorrow kind of feeling like a Christmas Story. You know, the kid from A Christmas Story that has the million layers on and he's kind of waddling out. Yeah, that is the level of cold that we are at. Wind chills 20 to 30 degrees below zero all day long tomorrow.
Man, I might look a bit silly walking out in all those layers, but it's worth it. It is worth it.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, we'd like to thank you all for joining us. Everyone, have a great night.
Follow ABC22 News wherever you are on mychamplainvalley.com, Facebook, Twitter, or our mobile app.